Hey, it's Kyle here, and Ubisoft gave me an early access code for the Wrath of the Druids DLC, which I really do appreciate. So I thought I'd make a little spoiler-free review, and I will be posting a spoiler review soon as well, so stay tuned. But before I get into this review, please like the video and subscribe if you're new for tons of AC content from podcasts to tribute videos. Now that's out of the way, let's get straight into it, and I think it's fair to say that I wasn't the biggest fan of Valhalla's main game, which is why I wasn't really looking forward to the Wrath of the Druids. And the first hour or so in this DLC just felt like more of the same, going from point A to point B, then back to point A, and so forth. And with no real changes to the stealth combat and parkour, I just felt a bit fed up with it right away. Take the parkour for example. There are very tall cliffs in Ireland which are not taken advantage of for an AC game. You can only climb them slowly or follow the road to reach the top. I found it strange that they didn't add some sort of parkour route for those cliffs like in Horizon Zero Dawn. Something challenging and fun and new to the game. This would have been a simple improvement on the main game and would have adapted to the landscape perfectly. And for me this was a massive missed opportunity. So I can't really review the stealth combat and parkour because it's basically the same, which is disappointing. And the same goes for the raids. Those bloody raids are terribly repetitive once again. And I'm pretty sure they weren't so repetitive in the actual Viking days. So I'm annoyed that they didn't mix them up a bit. However, at least there's not as many raids, or so it seems. And because of that you can sail around Ireland listening to songs and stories without too many interruptions, unlike the main game. So that is a massive plus and already improves the Viking experience, so I very much like that. Now, the main addition that this DLC brings is the trade system, where you can trade Irish resources with overseas nations at Azar's shop in Dublin. Trade increases the renown of Dublin each time you trade Irish supplies. And to produce Irish supplies you need to get the deeds to the various trade posts around Ireland and restore them. You can also add buildings to the trade post which will improve the production of your supplies. It's actually a pretty cool feature, and if you can get Dublin's renown to level 5 then there is an additional story moment. There are also pigeon coops which include royal demands. These reward you with trade post supplies and offer additional rewards if you meet the sub-objectives seen in early Assassin's Creed games. Now Ireland itself is portrayed pretty well with the green marshy lands and the tall cliffs that I mentioned earlier. But I was a bit underwhelmed by Dublin. I mean, it's supposed to be this ever-growing trade hub, so I was expecting a hustling and bustling market, but there was hardly any NPCs knocking about the place, which seems so out of touch with the focus on trade. It's not a major issue, but it would have been nice to see more people about, especially from other parts of the world. And there is of course plenty of side stuff scattered around the map, like the Trials of the Morrigan and artifacts to find. As for the story, it starts off very slow but does gather momentum after a certain character is introduced. The character caught my eye right away and will definitely be the highlight of the DLC for many people. And to be fair, all the best moments in the DLC are centred around him. The druid aspects are surprisingly interesting as well, to the point where I actually want to learn more about the druids. And I didn't expect that at all. Even the first ritual you encounter is so cool and immersive, and it reminded me of the Viking series a bit. And the story as a whole actually does resonate with me, which again I didn't expect. So it took me around 10 hours to complete it, and if you'd asked me if I'd rather play 10 hours of the main game or complete this DLC again, I would definitely choose to play Wrath of the Druids again. Now of course the DLC is called Wrath of the Druids, so don't expect to see more hidden one elements in it. It is basically a standalone story set during the main game, which is kind of a disappointment as I know people wanted to see a continuation of Eivor's story. Now you won't get that in this DLC unfortunately, and I will discuss this kind of stuff in my spoiler review and upcoming podcasts. So yeah, overall it's a bit of a mixed bag reaction from me. There's some good stuff and some bad stuff, but a lot of the bad stuff is from the main game, to be fair. It's just a bit disappointing that they didn't improve on those things, but there is enough in this DLC to make me want to play again. So in my opinion it's worth playing, and I hope you all have a great time playing it. So thank you for taking the time to watch my review. Stay tuned for more Wrath of the Druids content and podcasts. Have a little like and sub, and see you soon.